We are taking the game. This is Mike and I's band here. Song called Free Man. Yeah, it's all about rock and roll. Hey, boys and girls, it's the Chris and Mike Show. We are here with Yuri. We are actually live right now on YouTube as well as Twitch. So if you happen to be on those platforms, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
And then, as always, in a couple weeks, this episode will drop on our podcast channel and all the podcast outlets for your reviewing, re-listening. What is the word? Pleasure.
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 Hey, thanks for coming on, Yuri. It's nice to meet you.
And just so everybody knows, we just popped Yuri's cherry because he has never been on a podcast before. So welcome, Yuri. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for doing that.
Thanks for coming on, man. Happy to have you.
Yeah, so far I enjoy that. Can you
Right on.
let's go? Let's go more. Let's go deeper. All right. Hi guys. Yeah.
Oh.
So what?
I'm just
I
making
did,
it. I'm making a note that
homework.
we're live.
I realized I have to talk about myself quite a lot. So I guess I should follow my LinkedIn page and kind of copy paste and ask myself to just read it out loud.
Well,
Just kind of tell us like who you are,
Right,
why
right.
why you want to come on. What inspired you to want to come on and talk to two knuckleheads like us?
Yeah. But before we start that, where are you at? Because I'm in Arizona, Mike's in Illinois. Where are you?
Right now I'm in Pool House. It's pretty
No,
much.
I know you're in a
fast.
pool house, but I want to know where you. What city? What country?
What city,
Right.
country?
Yeah, it's a small town, Greenwich, next to New York, Greenwich, Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
right
All right.
next
Right
to
on.
Manhattan, maybe half an hour.
Okay, so New York's cool. So you're in New York. I'm in Arizona. He's in Illinois. So it's a beautiful thing. That's technology, man. You got to love it for that part of it, right?
But you obviously have an accent, so where did you grow up?
Yeah, it's a great question, especially nowadays. I have a cover story I always use. Actually, I recently used that. I'm from Romania. I know
right
it.
on.
Awesome.
So
I had
no,
a
I
friend, I
actually
had a
grew
friend
up
from
in.
Romania for years that I worked with. He's a
No,
cool guy.
no, yeah, right. No, actually, the real story is I grew up in the Soviet Union. Platform is how I call that. And maybe 20 years back, when I quite was guided by my grandparents, I made a big decision. I moved out, and now I live in the United States for the last 20 years with
Cool.
my family. Right.
So you grew up in Romania?
No, Romania is my cover story because nowadays, the place where I actually grew up,
Okay.
it's not a good thing.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
it's not, yeah, it is Soviet Union.
You
Soviet
actually
Union-
hit the nail on the head, Chris. He grew
What?
up in the Soviet Union. You said that before he came back on.
Right. Well, I just assumed because the name of the accent, but I wasn't sure. So. So
Yeah.
because we like to talk about anything and everything, as you know. It's a conversation.
Well, I want to
right?
hear that part of the story.
Right.
Like,
I want to hear what the Soviet Union.
What was it like growing up
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
please.
All right. Let's go from I think from the beginning. I guess Soviet Union platform. Is how I call it. Soviet Union
Yeah.
LLC or Soviet Union Corp
Right.
was powered by certain beliefs, and those
Sure.
beliefs they all came back to communism party. So the communist system was designed for everyone pretty much. And obviously, my family members, my parents, my grandparents, they are under this umbrella. They believe what they should believe. And I was super lucky when I grew up at that point, when I was, let's say, 10 and 11. It's actually the point when you start asking yourself questions. All right, how long I can live in a life, right? It's 100 years. So I already had 10% of my life done when I was
Right.
10 years, right? So I was lucky at that point in life, the whole system, if we call it system, and actually it's a system, right, started falling apart. And I found that wherever my parents, they believe, actually it's alternative reality. And I had the luxury to challenge that and ask them direct questions because at that point it was already okay to ask, what the heck is that, right? So obviously my mom, she was more conservative. She had more political correct answers to my questions, why we do this, why we do that. My dad, he was much more open-minded, so he quite influenced me a lot. that the whole this system with all those beliefs is pretty good for that, and it's pretty bad for that. So the math calculation, math analysis
Is it
Yuri?
freezing up on us?
Yeah. And I looked at my thing. I'm uploading fine.
So is he.
Weird.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Yuri's
Technical
having
difficulties.
technical difficulties, which really sucks because I'm super engaged in this story.
I know, right?
I've never met anybody from Russia.
No.
And I really want to hear about how he grew up and like how old he is now. That was one of my questions. He'll be back.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Because that's something that's fascinating, right? Because you're going behind the Iron Curtain. Is that what that was called when you
Yes.
were growing up?
100%. Good job.
So be able to see, or be
Yeah,
able to at least listen to a story of
Let's
how.
make sure we establish how old he is now so we know
Yeah.
what years we're talking about when he was growing up. Because if he's close to the same age as us,
Yeah.
you're going to hear what his experience in life was compared to going to an American school every day. And you know,
Sure.
right away, you hear the difference in what those people went through. And right away, at 10 years old, he was aware that his life was 10% over. Were you
And
aware
that's-
at 10 years old? That no.
No. And that,
Right
but
away,
see-
my brain went, I had no idea my life was 10% over at 10 years old.
But see, that means that he plans on living to 100.
Right, but what I'm
which-
saying
yeah,
is
yeah.
that was the despair and the hopelessness that life was,
Yeah.
It's just you're just kind of waiting to die because you're going to do the same thing over and over and over and over again because everything's for the system, right?
Right. And that's communism, which,
It doesn't work.
No, and you eat the same, you sleep the same, you work the same, you do this. I mean, it's Groundhog Day movie to an extreme.
Yes.
And that's
a great way of putting it. Great
Thank you.
analogy.
And I had no idea where he was from when we were talking because it wasn't his resume, his life resume he sent me was more business related and things like that. So this really surprised me when I first heard him speak. I'm like, oh, he's not from New York.
No, you hit the nail on the head. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
He was like, I'm from Romania. That would have been cool enough.
yeah,
Here we go.
absolutely.
Yuri is piping back in, ladies and gentlemen.
quite scary.
You're good, man.
No, you're good, man. I was just like, oh my God, I'm so engaged in this story. I want to hear the rest of it.
Right? Uh-oh. He froze again. Now, see, if he was in Russia, I could see, like, the 3 continents, right? Or 2 continents apart.
Right?
I wonder if
And
he's
the
on
weird-
a Wi-Fi.
No, because the weird thing is he was keeping up with us on the upload speed,
Oh, interesting.
which is nerd talk, ladies and gentlemen. But
It is nerd talk.
you have to have a decent internet connection to use this service. So that's why we're always talking about it on the podcast.
And that's why I included in all my welcome to the...
Hey guys, sorry.
Hey, there you are.
There you go.
I'm not sure.
Oh, there he went.
You're still freezing up on us, brother. Man, that sucks. Yeah, because
does-
now
it
his
does
thing
suck.
says 0%
Yeah.
uploaded.
Yeah. But he looks like he's having a good time. He's got a smile on his face.
I want to ask him if he's on a DSL connection.
Oh, that could be it.
Because you and I are sitting here talking to each other like we're in the same room and we're
Right,
1,800 miles apart. So
We are. So I wait for Yuri to come back on. Mike and I were talking before the show that I have a unique ability in my vehicle to get ethanol gas. Okay. So there's 2 stations in Arizona. Both are in the East Valley. One's in Tempe, one's in Mesa, where you can actually get this ethanol fuel. So I go to the one in the East Valley because I'm on that side of town this morning doing real estate stuff. Well, as I pull up to the gas station / restaurant, and the restaurant inside gas station is one of Arizona's favorite fast food Mexican stops called Filiberto's.
yay, Filiberto's.
Right. So I pull up in there, and there's a landscape truck, a 4-door crew cab, dually wheeled, tired massive truck with a long trailer that's probably just as long as the truck. And this gentleman's blocking three pumps, right? Which means you're blocking 6 people's ability to pump gasoline. On the other side, the ethanol nozzle on that side of the pump is broken. So the only one's on the side where his trailer's at. In front of that spot is another truck that's one of those, half the back is empty, open, so you unload, like, I don't know, drop off, pickup, donation type truck, okay?
Right.
So I go into the restaurant and look around. You can kind of tell a landscaper because they're everything's covered from head to toe except their face because of the Arizona sun. So I was like, "Excuse me, is that your white truck out there?" He looks out there, looks at it, looks back at me, doesn't say anything. I'm like, "Is that your white truck?" I said, "There's ethanol there. I like to pump that gas for my vehicle, and that's the only one that's working." Gentleman behind him rattles something off in Spanish. And the guy that I'm talking to responds in Spanish, then rewraps his burrito and continues to eat. So I'm standing looking at him for about 30 seconds, and I'm like, I just need you to move your truck forward so I can get gas. It's not that big a deal.
Reasonable request.
Didn't respond to anything. I said, okay, so I forget exactly what I said, but it's something to the level, well, if you're going to be a dick about it, then maybe when you come out there, you're just not going to have any air in your front 2 tires. And I walked out, and none of them moved. Like, none of them. And I had somewhere in that conversation, I'd pointed out the fact, I know you understand what I'm saying, because what you do for a living, you have to at least understand what I'm saying. Whether you speak it or not, you have to understand what I'm saying. And there's 2 guys here, there's 3 guys here, and then there's the door, and there's 4 guys over there that don't look like they're landscape guys. Because again, in Arizona, landscapers, like legit, you're wearing a bright orange, bright yellow shirt, and the only thing that's open to the air is your wrist and your face. And even then, when you're in the yard, you cover your face with a mask and sunglasses, so there's nothing exposed to the sun.
Right.
Which you have to. It's hot, and I've done that when I've done my yard, so it's actually a cooler environment being completely covered from the sun, and the only thing really exposed, nothing really when I wear my gloves, everything. I'm just like a landscaper. So
And nobody wants skin cancer.
no, but it was just, it was a reasonable request. I wasn't being a jerk. I was polite and respectful about it, and he just looks at me. Like, fuck you is basically what he said. And then the guy behind him again chimes in something in Spanish, and I'm learning Spanish, but I'm not quick enough to pick up what they say because, as people who have spoken Spanish their entire life, it's, hola, mi amigo Cristobal, ¿cómo está? Like, what'd you say?
They're talking as fast as we are right now.
Right. So, look, there's Yuri. So,
Yeah, listen, guys, I fixed that.
1 second. He's going to finish the
I got to
story
finish
here
the
real
story.
quick.
So my point is, boys and girls, it's not an unreasonable request to ask somebody to move forward when you're trying to get fuel at the only pump that is allowing fuel to be dispersed. Be a human and respond instead of just being a dick and staring at the.
And one thing I would like to add to that story
yeah,
is true, genuine, heartfelt Mexicans that grew up in Mexico hate Mexicans like that because they give them all a bad name, right?
Absolutely.
When you
Absolutely.
fake that you can't speak English and that bull, that I've known plenty of good Mexican families who came here illegally and then, made it legal later on, but their parents were always careful to make them speak English when they were
Right.
in the house. And, just we're in this country now, here's what we're going to do. So I hear that in my head too. It's like, man, those kind of people, they give Mexicans a bad name. They do.
well, and it's just a human respect thing. Just
Yeah, it doesn't matter, but I'm talking now, it's the language barrier
Yeah.
thing too,
yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Yuri.
Yeah, no, we were talking about a little situation happened this morning where I asked somebody politely to move their vehicle so I could get some fuel, and they just stared at me like I was, an alien that just had no relevance. It was the strangest thing, man. So, So anyway, so we want to continue. This is Yuri. He lives in New York. He's originally from the Soviet Union, and we were talking about how Mike and I both. You made the statement that when you turned 10% of your life was gone. That hit he and I like you wouldn't believe.
Because when we were 10 years old, we were not aware at all that our life was ever even going to end, for one thing, let alone know that it was 10% over. So what made you hyper aware at 10 years old that your life was 10% over? That's my first question.
Oh, it's a great question, and I actually, first time in my life, I asked myself why I knew that, why I had this kind of concern, right? And you nailed it. I didn't expect it. Let me think about it. My guess, All right. So here's what happened.
Okay.
Back in the time, in our culture, when I say our
Yeah.
culture, whatever culture we had at that point,
Sure.
right? When grandparents or adults die, they hold this event, they hold this ceremony, I called it, right?
Okay.
Was designed around tragedy, and it was really depressing for anybody, even adults. So I guess at that point I was witness of few maybe relatives or some neighbors that die, and obviously that concept that life is over at a certain point was introduced by not even asking me, kind of, right, and it was introduced in a pretty harsh style. Because the whole this process to say bye to those people who die. It was set up like a real experience, right? You can see actual dead body, right? And that dead body, it was not like modern days. It was not designed to be
It
almost
wasn't.
healthy
It
and
wasn't. It
nicely.
was. Yeah. It wasn't. It wasn't. More. It didn't go to a mortician and get it all cleaned up and stuff, right? And preserved.
Right, right. So yeah, now you kind of went to, it's not a therapy session, right? I don't pay you
Right.
guys. I hope.
Right. Right.
So I think at that point in life, I was first time experience, second time experience that concept that you might be bright and running around doing some shit when you child, obviously, right?
Yeah.
And then at a
Yeah.
certain point, you that piece of disposal, piece of meat, which looks ugly. And so I think it is my answer why I was kind of aware of the fact that eventually the whole this
Yeah.
version of the life is over. Eventually that dude or that lady were.
Yeah.
Okay, now my next question, real quick, is how old are you so we have a time frame of when we're talking about?
At that point or right now?
Right now.
Oh, right now I'm roughly 45.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say it's my kind
Okay.
of
Cool.
number.
So I'm 10 years old and you, Mike's 8 years older than you. So
Yep.
you were 10 years old in the Soviet Union.
Right.
Okay. So when did you move from the Soviet Union? How old were you?
First time I did it when I was in college, second year in college, maybe it was 19. It
Okay.
was in Boston.
Okay.
And
So
actually,
you.
it was not Boston. Yeah, it was New Hampshire.
Okay. So you lived there till you were 19.
Right. I was till 17 and a half, I would say, to be
Okay.
precise.
So
Right.
so what was it like being a teenager growing up in Russia, man?
Which part do you have? Which part of that?
I don't. It's just like I know what it's. Obviously, we know what it's like to grow up in America as teenagers, and it was when we were teenagers, right? There wasn't the social media, there wasn't the internet. It was basically you get home by the time the streetlights come out. So it was a great childhood from that aspect. If you look at what kids have to deal with now, right? Because there was no hiding behind texts and phone calls and cell phones and shit like that. It was just you're going and knocking on Mike's door. Hey, Mike, can Mike come out and play?
Yeah,
And then the parents are like, no, he's grounded. Or he's doing a homework, whatever. So did you
Yeah.
have? So just, I mean, I don't want
here's
you
a
to
way
go
of
into-
asking that. I
Okay,
think here's a way
okay.
of asking what you're trying to say.
Okay.
Did you have that same kind of freedom even though you were in a communist country? I mean,
Oh.
you could come and go as you pleased as far as playing with your friends and going to a club, or that's what he's
Right.
asking.
Right. I think it's
Describe a
It's
day
not na- it's
as a
not national-
teenager in Moscow,
right.
in Russia.
yeah. So it might be Moscow, different cities as well, right?
Right.
I think the whole concept, the whole narrative, we are less free nowadays. Our kids, I have 3 kids, right?
Okay.
It's international. So back in the time when you're 17, when you're 15, when you're 14, the level of freedom and level of independence, I would say, right?
Okay.
If we put any number on that, it was maybe let's say 10x.
Okay.
So we did had a pretty similar experience. You just go to somewhere and you come back from somewhere in your time. And obviously you had some expectation from yourself that your parents wants you to see before the dark.
Sure.
And you can have access to the bike. You can bike somewhere and explore and find. Sometimes you find troubles, right? Sometimes you find something very interesting, and sometimes you bring those troubles to your household, right? So,
Oh yeah.
and I grew up in a small town, like roughly 9,000 people.
Okay.
To compare to local towns, I would kind of say that it's more like a small version of Queens in New York.
Okay.
Okay.
So you have quite a diverse community. You have people who are successful doing, good stuff in their life, and
What
obviously
part
you have
of
some.
Russia?
It was small town near Nizhny Novgorod. That time it was Gorky, and that small town was primarily built around two businesses. One business produced food for pigs, and second business produced pigs.
Oh,
And obviously, humans we eat those, pigs.
right, right.
So
Okay,
it's pretty,
so hold
pretty
on one
simple
second.
vertical.
I'm pretty good with geography, but are you closer to the European side of the Soviet Union, or are you more like in the interior of the country? Is what I'm asking, I guess.
It's right in the middle, I would say.
Okay,
It's right in
now
the
I
middle,
know.
like
I know
four,
right where you're at then.
yeah, like let's say 4 hours by good car, 4 hours from Moscow. It's pretty
Okay.
much to put a point, right? So that lifestyle was evolved pretty dynamic dramatically when systems start falling apart. The whole freedom was leveraged by not just kids but adults as well. So the whole system was very like maybe 2 years a transition from one type of everyone is shared, everyone united by same vision, and now over 2 years it become more kind of independent lifestyle. So
Because
each
you
family
lived under
member,
two different regimes, right?
right? So
What
I
was the
actually,
first regime?
I'm sorry.
Who was in charge during the first regime when you were like from birth to whenever Putin took over?
Right. So the last guy, I think, to be politically correct, we should kind of stay away as far as possible, so our podcast can go live. Right.
Oh, we don't talk about
And
that guy?
I will stay away from that part
Okay.
just for the
Fair
reason that
enough. Fair enough.
That's
Stop
I
good.
don't
there.
believe I don't believe I have
We'll
so
call-
you know
Let's just call
I
him
don't
Bob.
have
Let's just call
yeah
him
Bob, right
Bob.
because I
Bob.
don't have kind of very concrete balls in
I like
in-
what
in-
Chris says. Let's call him Bob. And when Bob was in charge, what was life like? And then when Putin took over, what did you notice like immediately and then maybe progressively afterwards?
So the Bob, I wasn't part of Bob umbrella. How to say that?
Okay.
When Bob was on top of family, as a family member, I already flying over to my new life. So, but when I grew up, it was a dude named Gorbachev, right?
Right.
Based on
That I
based on
couldn't think
record,
of his name. Thank you.
Yeah.
yeah. So that dude, he was pretty kind of human focused, kind of. He was not a good manager, but obviously he managed a country which was not good business in the first place.
Right.
So maybe we would have much more success as a business if he run pretty good business at that point. Because the previous guy, whatever previous guy name, he could not build as a country as a business in any perspective. Because it was super inefficient. It was super how to say that super not
Inefficient
right.
works. Inefficient works. It wasn't performing the way it should be. So it was
And the people
insufficient.
suffered under that, right?
Oh, it's a great note. I didn't see anybody in my circle who had zero, who had any negative emotional things in their life, right? The system itself, when you unite people under same vision and you let them go in that direction,
Yeah.
and you help them to feel, the fact they actually part of that journey, and they can feel, accountable for whatever they have to be. The one guy who may, part of, he might be plumber. Second guy, he might be big boss, right?
Right.
But at a certain point, everyone has access to the same table, I would say, right? And when people united by something huge, they actually feel very happy about the lifestyle. Even it's not about money at that point, right? It's more about where we're going. I would say Elon Musk, he is the biggest communist type of guy, right? He's trying to put you and me to the Mars. And when I grew up, the guy who is in charge, our Elon Musk, they trying to put me in a life where in the future we all happy. I forgot exactly the tagline, but we had exact same branded message from the system as well.
Okay.
That
That's
makes sense.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's
So let's go to Mars.
This is kind of a random question. I don't know if it's even a legitimate question, but as I grew up, not really understanding communism, right? Because I lived in America, right? So I never had to struggle
Right.
through that. Is it true that the government would dictate what your occupation was?
At a certain degree,
Okay, okay,
your journey started in high school. And in
okay,
high school, you pick something based on your parents'
okay,
observations, right? So
okay,
your parents pretty much put you on some path, and that specific path will place you somewhere in the society, and you get
okay,
a full-time presence in society, and you feel
okay.
very happy because you go to the Mars.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, then
Yeah,
with that said, sorry, Chris.
you're good. No, you're good.
I like where you went with that.
Yeah,
With
thank
that
you.
said, what if you wanted to be an artist? Him and I
Oh,
played in a band together, right? We chose that as part of our profession for a portion of our lives. What if you wanted to be a guitar player in a band? You don't have that freedom?
You
Or,
have a freedom to play guitar with any rhythm you can come up with because guitar music doesn't impact does have a direct message, right? But as soon as you open your mouth, whatever comes
oh,
from your mouth, it has to be in a certain aligned with the message we go to the Mars.
it's got to be politically correct. You
Pretty
can't you,
much,
you
right?
can't be
So
so
anti-establishment. Get you taken off the stage and shoved in a closet in the back room for days.
pretty much, Mike.
Yeah.
yeah, so like it or not,
Yeah.
Chris and I could have went on stage and said, fuck America. We hate this fucking, the way
Which
this
we never would have
country's
said.
run,
Right, right.
which we never would have said because we
Right.
love where we live, but we
We
have
already
that
said
right
it,
to get
right?
up there. And
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
if you did that in your
Oh
band?
God.
You're,
Oh.
you're going
In
to be
my
arrested.
times, in my yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't see anybody. I didn't see anybody in my life, in my circle, and I did have some, very bold and proactive activists, whatever,
Sure.
people
Yeah.
who against the system. Nobody would say that.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
it was
It's
suicide.
so it's not just bold. It's not even the bad news when you go too long to the Mars.
Yeah.
You actually believe you're on the path to the Mars, and anybody say the Mars is fuck, anybody say that the Mars is illusion. Not so many people can hear the message, and not so many people can support that. So wherever you scream in your microphone on the stage, not so many people can get reacted on that.
Gotcha.
Positive
Okay.
way.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. So now you're in America. You moved from Soviet Union, Russia. And you're in America now. You go to college. What did you study in college? And what did you notice when you came over from a communistic country to the freedoms of America? What was the biggest culture shock for you?
Great question.
Yeah, if we go back to education part, and then we can culture
Okay.
piece.
Okay.
Yeah, I did maximize opportunity to study as much as I could. Thank you for to my parents. I guess
Yeah.
they were pretty direct. You better learn and be smart than not.
Yeah.
So I
I got
went
the same
to
message.
right. So I went to mechanical engineering school. I graduated after 70 years being in a pretty good college, and I went to PhD as mechanic engineer type of
Nice.
guy. And
Well
obviously,
done.
I drop out for the sake of someday I will say it loud. I drop out PhD instead of high school. So because I maxed out the fact that we had free education system. It's a good part of the kind of go to
Okay.
the Mars. It has a
Yeah.
good benefit as well, right?
Okay.
When you
Yeah.
go to the Mars, you have to build a good platform for education
Sure.
because to get to the Mars, you need engineers. So I spent 7 years studying math, finance, whatever you name that. So I was full time in a few different education systems. The good news, I paid zero for that. The best news, sometimes I even get paid for that. If you
Wow.
study good, if you get good score points, whatever you call that, you
Yeah.
actually get paid. And so transition to cultural question, what was quite different
Yeah.
versus here versus Russian
Yeah.
culture. Yeah, obviously it's more. I'm trying to go back at that time, my impression that time versus my impression nowadays.
Sure.
And
Because now you're
that time,
Americanized.
He's been Americanized.
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of, now I'm going to different Mars.
Right. Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And my belief system already kind of influenced by years be present here. I'm not going to say
Sure.
present.
Well, maybe pose. Let me pose the question this way. Like, so when you first come to America, right, and the freedom that you were then allowed, was that just like overwhelming? Like, oh my gosh, I can just get up whenever I want. I can go to McDonald's and get a cheeseburger, or I can go rent this movie at
Oh,
Blockbuster. Just that type of, because you're going from like a communistic world where you're kind of told what to do, when to do it, how to, all this stuff, right? And now you're completely free to kind of do whatever you want, right? Like you can go in the middle of the night,
not
wake up
exactly. Not even exactly. I would take even opposite. The good
okay,
news in my personal case, when I was out, when I checked out from that
yeah,
hospital,
okay,
from that Mars expedition, right?
yes,
Uh, I would say the last 2 3 years, that regime, the system was already collapsed, right? It was
okay,
complete freedom that time in that part of the country. Not
okay,
that those 3 years after system collapse, it was the biggest freedom you can experience in life. So you
okay,
do whatever you do, you go against legal things, and the legal system, you quite control that. You go against messages, you can open your mouth, you can say whatever you want,
okay,
because the system doesn't exist. Now you can
right,
say it out loud. Your parents were dumb. Follow this, 1 2 3 believe. So back to your question, was a big like difference in the freedom? To be
yeah,
honest, here I experienced much less freedom.
really,
So right, it
wow,
was much less. You observe by rules. There is something you have to be compliant every day, right? It's what I
true,
experience
yeah,
here, right?
yeah,
So be compliant, follow a certain protocol. It's what I discover here. Is it good or bad? The first day, first time you don't feel comfortable. You feel control, kind of, right? You
okay,
have some
okay,
boundaries, right?
yeah,
But eventually, when you realize all those rules, they actually designed for good of your things, for good of your presence being part of the system. I decided, listen, that version of control is much better than what I experienced when I was a child.
So
I
give me
never,
a simple example of something that you have to do here that you did not have to do when you lived in your hometown.
Oh my God! So
because
now
that was a
It's
fascinating answer,
fascinating.
Yuri. Because really, I never would have thought, coming from communistic control to
and have a claim that he had more freedom there, right?
right,
Give me a
which is
simple example,
right, which is
if you
just
can think of one off the top of your head.
brilliant insight, man.
But again, big note that we're trying to compare apple and
Oh yeah,
banana,
we know,
right? Because the
yeah,
last 3 years it was opposite of communism. If you compare
sure,
communism, different animal, right?
sure,
So
yeah,
the biggest thing, not the biggest, one of, oh wow, it's going public, right? Um, shit. Let me pick something more
okay,
easier
okay,
to
Yeah, I'm not
less
trying to get you
impact.
in trouble.
yeah. We don't
I
want
just,
we don't
Right,
want
right.
I'm
So
trying to
I'm trying to stay
understand.
away from trouble for all of
we
us.
don't
You
want
see
the
how much?
KGB knocking on
Oh,
your door,
listen.
man.
I don't want them knocking on my door either.
Let's use that thing as the fact we were trying to discover, right?
Okay,
It's
okay,
it when we're trying to say something here, right? We're still trying to filter where there are some messages they can
sure,
put you guys and me in certain trouble.
hmm,
If you go to the big one, which and obviously let's not go in details because I don't want to be kind of in trouble for sure. When we go races, when we're trying to define different personalities driven by different ethnicity or the
sure,
history behind each. So we all
yeah,
came from different places, right? We have to have some expectation who that person based on ways he's coming from, right?
sure,
So that subject, the race, it might be color, it might be size of the body, etc.
hmm,
In the country we're part of right now, right? It's much less freedom to emphasize, to explain, to be verbal on that subject. Much less
that's
freedom, like
That's
I
a
would say
great
10x.
example.
yeah. That is
Holy
an
crap.
amazing example, Yuri. Wow.
That was a brilliant answer, man.
Yeah,
Thank you
good
very
job.
much. Now
Good
I
job.
understand. I
And we should just
Oh,
end the show. We should
I
just
need
end
a
the show
sticker,
because how do we
guys.
go up from there?
Send me sticker.
No, but that was
Send me a
that.
sticker.
That was amazing. That was a great way to frame that because I never would have thought of that.
No
So
question.
over there, it doesn't matter. You're just over there. You're just communistic. You're in that world, and that's how it is. So they don't see any of that per se, right? And over here, like you just said, there's so much division from the cultures themselves, the race, the religions. Because you didn't even touch religions, right? There's religion, and religion is the mother of all wars, right? That's why the world's always been at war, is religions and stuff. So I mean, that was a really great insight on the difference between the two, for sure.
Right.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Yuri, ladies and gentlemen, Yuri from world traveler.
Connecticut. Yes, I think it's better phrased that way.
So okay, so here's another fun question, because Mike and I talked about this before you came on the show. We were talking. We've always asked people what is America's perception from the country, but obviously we're not going to ask that because you're in America now. But we've learned that people that are in other countries outside of America, some of them think that we're arrogant pieces of shit. And then Mike had a conversation with someone, and the answer was basically, well, we only speak one language in America, whereas your buddy speaks how many, Mike?
5. Fluently.
Five. So how many languages do
He
you
speaks
speak?
9 languages, but he speaks 5 fluently.
And where's he from?
Norway.
Right. So what about you, Yuri? How many languages do you speak?
I think English, my second now, become eventually first one, I guess, because the way I process, yeah, first one English, second Russian I can speak. I can speak Ukraine to support Ukraine.
Okay.
And then somehow I understand Espanol
Okay.
and Spanish, and pretty much is it. I'm not a language guy. I'm
No,
more,
but still,
He's still speaking
you're
two
still speaking,
fluently.
Right. You're still speaking 2 fluent languages, and you can understand 2 other ones. So that's still 4 languages.
I only
where-
speak 1 fluently.
Right. Right. I'm learning Spanish, but it's not, I had my little ordeal today, and I didn't understand a thing those guys said because they said it so fast. It was like, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay. So no, that's props, man. That's good job.
Now, I had an uncle who took Russian in college, and supposedly that is one of the hardest languages to learn other than like Latin, which is a dead language anyway. So they say that Russian is actually the hardest language to learn that's actively spoken every day on the planet today. Would you agree with that or no? It'd be hard for you to agree with it because you grew up with it.
Yeah.
No, it was hard for me as well. It was like
Really?
I said, yeah, I was pretty good in physics, math, and such science, right?
Can I ask you a quick question?
Terrible
Why are
in
the
Russian.
words this long? And I'm holding my fingers really wide, ladies and gentlemen. Why are there so many letters?
There's where in each word.
Russian,
Yeah, like
yeah.
when I look at Russian signs, when we
Yeah.
see them on TV, like the names seem like they're 14 letters long.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, I think. Oh, wow. Is it test? No. Okay, let me nail that. The biggest difference between English American language, right? There is a symbol might have. There are 2 symbols, right? But when you write description, how you pronounce that, you have to come up with 3 symbols, right?
Okay.
In that type of group of languages, like in Bulgaria or Romania as well, right? And all those languages is Slavic. There is no such, like, to be honest, there is no such language as Russian. They all function of, it's a mix of, and they always evolve, right? The answer to your question, they don't have issue to write all small sounds. So you just can read that exactly what you see. You don't have to generate big sound from small symbols, kind of. It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
So wherever you see, you have to read that. In English, you have to memorize a certain combinations of symbols, and you pronounce them quite different whether you see actually in the paper.
Okay, so if dog in America is dog in Russia, it could be whatchaka. And it could be
Sabaka.
14 symbols long.
Okay. Yeah, right. No, actually, right. No, that animal, the one who af,
Yeah.
in English there are 3 letters, and it's dog. In Russian, sabaka is one more symbol bigger.
Okay.
With no need for that. We can call it sabak.
Sabak. Sabak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we simplify, like become more kind of English.
I know Russian. Sabah. So
And
now that
it's not-
now that we picked your brain about how you grew up and all that kind of stuff, because it fascinated Mike. Now let's turn our attention to what you do now and what you want to share while being on the Chris and Mike show.
There's no specific message to share,
Okay.
to be honest. It just going through the life and be have quite different experiences. Eventually, I ask myself, I should talk to myself directly, I guess. At what point I should actually combine this knowledge, in, at least in my head, and feel it, enjoy it, and so feel the whole life which I already went through, right? So be in the camera, be in the podcast. Thank you guys, for to be here.
Yeah.
It was pretty much the main driver. There is no direct message. Oh, I have a message X, Y, Z. No, actually, I decided, okay, it's time to. I'm 45. I already had a laugh, and maybe it makes sense to help yourself become, more public versus less public, I guess.
Sure.
So, with that said, Yuri, let me ask you this question. Obviously, you probably looked over your shoulder for quite some time when you first came here. Do you still do that?
What do you mean by that? By the way, just curious.
Were you nervous about being here on
Podcast?
your?
Well, just because I think Mike, what he's getting at is the atmosphere in America. The Cold War and stuff. I don't think that was still relevant, right? But the fear, like I'm from another country, and at any given time, somebody could just tap on my shoulder and say,
Oh, you're
yeah,
talking about it's not about podcasting. It's about
well,
back to the first part of the
yeah,
conversation.
Yeah,
it's more
just
like,
No,
just
life
with
is,
what you just said. Were you ever? Did you just kind of go into it headstrong and say, "This is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna move forward in this direction," or you at some point you had to make a decision that you're going to change your life. What triggered that?
the trigger back to it's a next great question, which might
I'm
be
full of
quite
great
deep, right?
questions.
Right. It might be. There are multiple triggers. It was not just one, right? Obviously, big fact, right? I didn't believe that go to that specific Mars. It was a good, time to spend. I didn't believe in that vision they had when I was 10, whatever, 11, let's say, right? Then next chapter, like when you from 10 to 14, I guess, when systems start falling apart, I had clear picture that there is no such system as a system exists. You pretty much define your own system when you go. Uh, and obviously, there are some external messages from a grandparent, let's say, right, and from somebody else who might whisper to your ear, it's norm
That's still
to move.
super intuitive at 14 years old. I'm gonna give you that again.
yeah,
But again, when you're on a journey to find signals and symbols, you can find them even you I don't know 5, I guess, right? I have a son. He's 3 years old right now, right? And I can
I
see
was
his
looking at
brain.
girls at 14, Yuri. That was my only
No.
concern.
I did that as well, by the way, just for record.
No, I'm
I
not
did.
saying you. I'm not saying you didn't. You're a man like anybody else. I'm just saying that was my only concern at that point. I wasn't thinking about the
Okay, it
system.
was my only concern as well, to be honest. No, we all right, so we probably have to go numbers, right? So back to the shoulder part. Let's go back to the shoulder because
yeah.
it sounds like we missed that part. The shoulder part, yeah. Being in different ventures, different. I was an entrepreneur, trying
Yeah.
to make different things in life. I was trying to generate cash flow. I didn't know that thing, that how to say cash flow at that time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But obviously, I was involved in so many different ventures, and some ventures I was part of. I joined somebody initiative, right? And most of the time, it was mine, right? I was a guy who designed idea. I was a guy who actually go after, and I was the one who, to take all the responsibility for the outcome, good or bad.
Right.
So being in different ventures, moved to different country, it was the easiest project I took over in my life, to be honest.
Oh, right on.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, that is a great answer. So you sent me a full back history on you, and I skimmed through it because again we like this being real, raw, and relevant. So we don't like really knowing who we're talking to too much because it's the reactions and the conversation is more genuine from our point of view. Because I had a radio show, and so I did all that, and that was, you know, was cool. But it was never genuine. And what Mike and I like about this is we're genuine, and the people we talk to, they're genuine conversations, and like this entire story about where you grew up, and that's fascinating to both of us. And you answered questions for us, probably for a lot of people that will listen to this episode that are watching now too, because you never really get in depth with someone who's lived behind the Iron Curtain. So that was cool. Totally appreciate you sharing that. And hopefully that, you know, the KGP doesn't come knocking on your door tomorrow. I don't know if they still exist, but if they do, tell them it's our fault and they can come find me. Now.
Right. And just for record, I didn't share any stickers so far. So
okay,
but
good.
at least, I can share. It's all for sale, by the way.
Yeah, reach out if you want to get some secrets from here.
Yeah,
we'll
we have to come up with a business model behind your podcast.
Yeah, let's get a business model together, and we'll connect you two, and you know we can make some money there.
I'm loving Yuri more every minute that goes by.
Right. So you're married now. You have 3 kids, right? How long have you been married?
20, I guess. It sounds
nice.
Like right.
Okay. Yeah, my wife and I have been together 32, so good job. And you said you had a 3.5-year-old. What about the other 2? How old are the other 2?
I have quite diverse portfolio. The oldest asset I have, 22.
Okay.
The middle one, 12, and
Okay.
the youngest 3. So it's kind
that's
of
good.
Wow.
10 years gap.
Yeah, that's okay. You know,
Yeah.
you know,
And,
there's I have a friend who had their kids were all gone up and grown, and then all of a sudden they decided to have another kid. So there's like
right.
25 years apart. You know, it's crazy.
Right. And just for record, same eggs, same sperm, same exact kind of thing.
That's funny. Right on. So, talk a little bit about your business side of what you do now, because I did skim what you sent me. You talked about some ventures and real estate stuff and things like that, and you know, give us a little insight to what you do now. Is there something that you wanna share? I mean, are you know, like what's your let me put it to you this way. Like we've had people on here that are health and wellness, that are fitness coaches, peptide experts, writers, authors, producers for movies. We've had a professional boxer on who, ironically enough, a week after he was on our show, he like literally just dropped this guy with one punch, and he was the most quiet, sincere, polite, gentle human I think we've ever talked to. And he just laid this dude out, man, like with just one punch. And then
he jabbed him,
yeah,
and then he just laid him out with the second hit. It was beautiful.
It's just, you know, so, but that's the cool thing. Everybody has something, whether it's we're going to be a coach, or we're going to, you know, teach about investing and things like that. So that's kind of what I'm getting at with that, because obviously we connect a while back because we have such a scheduled out show. But what is it? What's your passion in life, man? What fuels your fire? What makes you up in the morning and gets you excited?
Yeah, what makes Yuri go now at 45 in America?
Yeah.
Right. It's good coffee, I guess.
That helps. We love our coffee.
We should have a product placement right here, like Dunkin' Donuts, I guess, or
Chris and I think he's still drinking it. We drink Don Francisco's butterscotch toffee. If you want to send it to me by the case, I'll talk about Don Francisco's from here to Kingdom Come.
Yeah. Mike introduced me to that. It's legit, dude. It's like you don't even have anything.
It'll change your life.
Yeah, you don't have to have anything in it. It's that good. It's just, and they have a wide variety, Yuri. There's a wide variety of flavors from Don Francisco. You know.
Oh, really? All right, I should try that.
Yeah.
And thank you for the time to let me process and come up with the right answer, I guess. What makes you wake up?
Well, everybody wakes up because they're alive. But once you wake up, what's your...
that part I got it. Yeah. I've been trying to make a joke, I guess.
It's good. It's good, man.
There's a child, he's 3 years old, he makes me wake up. No, actually, the biggest answer, the right answer would be, I have curiosity on a level of 9 out of 10, I guess.
Right on.
And it comes with a price. Sometimes you go too many directions, right?
Sure.
So, that is the main reason.
That's called ADHD, Yuri. Squirrel. Squirrel.
Welcome to the United States. We all have kind of diagnosed kind of thing. No, actually, it's curiosity when you have interest in something, right? So nowadays, right, I found myself with big passion involved in. I call it opportunistic investment transactions. And what I found the whole my life is more opportunistic type of investment. I invest my time to execute certain vision, which I can come up when I wake up one day, right? So pretty much the answer to your question, what it wake ups nowadays, I have a vision that me and my team, we can build quite sizable portfolio of passive investments.
Okay.
So we can retire with a quite stable cash flow and enjoy this American dream, do nothing pretty much, and still have a nice lifestyle, right?
That's my dream too, Yuri.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see how I nailed that? You see how I made it, right?
And I'm in tune with that dream too. So let's all find that dream together.
Yes. How do
No,
we do
define the dream is not the challenge. The dream, I can write it down. The dream, I can give you a lot of details of what this dream is about, right? The
we
whole
need to
thing
put
is-
it into motion.
Yeah, the whole exercise to find the path to the dream, right?
Execute.
And the whole that is called execution standpoint. And at the same time, it's more not just execution part. Just sometimes it's not execution as well. Because sometimes you put yourself in a treadmill and you go in a direction which doesn't bring you to the vision you come up with, right? So
Right.
Sometimes it makes sense just doing nothing, right? So
Yes.
back to your question, what wakes me up sometimes is doing nothing, right? So I most of the time I take a break to do, not most of the time, sometimes I take a break to do nothing, just kind of reassess, is it right path? Not the right path, is it the right action plan to the vision I just come up recently. So nowadays I'm in that space, investment space, trying to find deals, trying to find opportunities, make sure that those opportunities, they bring the value for, to me, to my investors, pretty much is it.
So do you run like an investment portfolio? Do you run like a hedge fund? Help us understand.
It's coming up. It's coming up.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
it's more friends and family structure.
Okay.
Because I do that. I'm investor had for the last, let's say, 4 years, 3 years and a
Okay.
half.
Okay.
Before I was a guy who was a horse. When I say horse, the guy who ran the show.
Yeah, I know.
was
I got that.
Yep.
Right. I was a guy who focused on startup I had, and I was trying to build something big.
Yeah, building an empire.
and- Right. So whatever Elon Musk dream is about, right?
Yeah.
And then last 3 years, I shift gears. I realized there are different approach to the goal.
Mm-hmm.
There are different strategies how you can accomplish your goal, passive, all this type of income, right?
Sure.
So last 3 years, I shift completely from active guy. Obviously, I am active to find a deal.
Sure.
But I prefer that deal has one more driver
Okay.
who can drive the deal to the end.
So you're the passenger. You're the passenger in the car.
Right. There's sometimes a passenger. Sometimes you stop on a gas station and you
Yeah.
put the gas in a car.
Yeah.
So there has
Right.
to be somebody open. Yeah, and somebody has to tell the driver where the highway ends and it become paver road. So you have
Yeah.
to slow down the guy. Yeah.
Okay. That's it. Dude, you have some great analogies, man.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, right?
I love
I
it.
like that. You should just write a book about analogies by Yuri. Because
really?
that's a good analogy, man.
You're
the
very
major
good
part
at
of
making people understand
Yeah.
complex
stuff.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
good at painting a picture. Your answers paint a picture. So it's not just a generic answer. It's like you're framing it, which is perfect for podcasting, for people to listen to it, because then they can picture what your answer is because the way you frame the response. That's
For
the
your
mechanic-
first podcast, you've
yeah.
done amazingly
You
well,
have.
man. I've
You
been
have.
captivated the whole time. First off, I've never met anybody that grew up in Russia, so you got
No.
me right there.
Thank you.
That was a win.
Thank you,
just-
guys.
I agree with Chris. This whole time, we've been talking about some pretty seriously complex issues, and you have a really good way of painting a picture to make my stupid brain understand it.
No, listen. There are such things. as
I'm
stupid,
just
right?
being
It's
funny,
the-
man.
it's
I think it's a stupid approach to explain things. So I was trying to make your brain comfortable.
You did a great job at
Yeah,
that for sure,
yeah.
man.
You did, absolutely. That's fantastic. So what's on the horizon for Yuri? What's the 5 year? Where are you going to be in 5 years? What's the goal? What's the target?
Years
Take
goal?
over. You're going to take over the world. and we can join you.
No, no, no. I'm not that dude.
Okay.
I have zero Mars plans. I
Okay,
don't
cool.
see myself on the Mars. Zero plan for that.
I don't want to go to Mars either, man. It's kind
No,
of a
me
stupid
Yeah,
place
I
to
don't
go.
even have. I have zero desire to be in a part of any government or related journeys processes. I would say, right?
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
the plan is very simple. Stay humble as much as
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah.
Kind of control emotional part because obviously we get
Okay.
older and we've found ourselves that the middle age crisis kind of behind the back. So control that part. So wherever we can accomplish, wherever I can accomplish, is my question, right? It would be good enough. So obviously tangible part of the equation, what I expect it be to have. I have a list. I have a vision board. I did it maybe
good.
10 years ago. Certain point I can share with that with the crowd. I guess I'm not ready right now, but obviously there are some tangible items.
We're gonna have you back on the show, man, because I mean we're not done yet, but we're gonna have you back on the show because you're an interesting conversationalist for sure. You're very intelligent because you're a mechanical engineer, so that alone you have a very analytical mind, which is fascinating.
Which is good and bad, right?
Well, no, but
It's been great for this podcast.
yeah,
That's
it's
all
good.
we care about right now. We're damn glad to meet you. Man.
So
Oh, you guys selfish, right? No, you should think about my brain. I have to analyze everything what we discuss here. Just nature is my muscle.
I can't help you there, Yuri. You got to live in that body. I get to live in this one. We're just happy that, you know, like Chris said, for a podcast, it's great for the audience when you can paint a picture and make them understand right along with us. So
the really cool thing is that your responses to the questions, the fact that you pause and think about how to respond shows your level of intelligence because you're just not wanting to quickly answer something just to fill the space.
right.
You're wanting to answer the question with a legitimate response to help us understand why we asked and the answer. So don't ever feel like your answers were wrong. They were spot on. It's public speakers, right? When you go to see a public speaker, they will have pauses when they're on stage, and those pauses on stage are because in their brain they're going from this chapter to that chapter. But what that pause does, it makes the person kind of lean in more. What's he going to say?
Yep.
And then when you deliver your answer, because the way you do it so eloquently and the way you frame it, it's a great answer. Like it's a great answer. Like I want to ask you what you have for breakfast, but I'm afraid you'll make my breakfast pale in comparison. Just how you would paint the picture.
It's very simple. It's a yogurt and 2 nuts. And,
See, it still makes our breakfast sound like shit just the way you said it. It's
All
a
right, so-
yogurt.
it's yogurt and it's a white color yogurt. I'm not going racist here. It's a white yogurt.
That's awesome.
Oh, that was hilarious.
So did you ever watch the Rocky trilogies, the Rocky movies with Sylvester Stallone?
Fighter.
The guy, kick ass. The guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did that.
Yeah,
I
okay,
was
so-
in that sport as well.
Oh, right on. So that's great because I love boxing. So does Mike. So
I
you're
love
from
it.
so you were from Russia's and Ukraine's in that area. The Klitschko's. Did you watch them in their careers?
Not enough because I'm not a box guy. I'm kickboxing guy.
Okay, so you go boxing just for physically fitness and just to do that. So you weren't. Really
I go kickboxing.
Oh, cool. Right on. Right on.
Straight up kickboxing or Muay Thai?
Straight, yeah, the
Straight
the
up.
basic
Cool.
one.
Right on.
Okay.
The basic
Okay.
one, right? The regular
Right
one.
on,
When you
right on.
when you use your legs
Yeah.
to break somebody else's legs.
Yep.
So when you watch the Rockies, did Dolph Lundgren's character, the Russian guy, was that a good stereotypical example of, the steroid era Russian athlete that was just juiced up like crazy?
That was a great look.
You had to answer the question with the look, man.
I hope you're watching,
real
ladies and
life,
gentlemen.
in the real life, this guy he looks quite different. To be honest, he is
Okay.
more. His shoulders more rounded. He's more.
Okay.
Less organized, I would say, right?
Okay,
But it was
okay.
important for a local crowd
Mm-hmm.
to enjoy the fact that we can
Yeah.
nail that type of machine. So it was a picture not for me. It was a picture for you guys.
Yeah.
That makes sense for sure.
I must break you.
Yeah. It was a style which I never saw such a guy. All my
Yeah,
friends
okay.
are good guys who actually perform nicely
Yeah.
in the kickboxing, etc.
Yeah, okay.
They are quite different
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know who?
visually.
Do you know who Bert Kreischer, the comedian, is? Yuri.
I should Google that.
Okay,
Yes,
he
Google's your friend.
he has a great story of going to Russia when he was in college, and he's told this story a million times, and he elaborates on it each time he tells it. But I will say the one thing that he says about his time in Russia is it was the most intimidating experience going into it with some of the nicest people he ever met. He said they were scary as shit, but they were cool to him because they wanted to party with him.
Right. In general, yes. And in general, yes, yes, yes. I didn't find any culture, any place when I travel, and I travel quite remote spots in the universe, I would say, right? Let's say in Bangladesh, right?
Mars.
I found myself so sometimes shocked by certain local messages, I would say. For them, it's norm. For me, outsider, is quite wow. I'll give you one, which quite remarkable, at least for myself, right?
Okay.
I was in Bangladesh, and the guy who was my kind of buddy, or he's local, right? So he put me in a program, like not a program. We went through different local cool places, etc. Right? At a certain point, he was explaining to me about certain religion, which I don't want to kind of promote right now.
You're good.
Not because I don't like that, just
Yeah.
because I
No,
feel
you're fine.
responsible for what
Yeah.
we're saying here, right? So what he said that we're all different. And at that point, imagine what we had. We had a food in a good restaurant, and in the food we had on table, we use our hands to use to eat the food. So it's a restaurant. Is you dress nicely because those most guys are professional in that meeting, right? And they use hands. And what he said, listen, we might be all different in any degree, right? We may have different opinions, different, etc. But in reality, if we cut our hand right here in this spot, you and me will have exact same blood.
Yep.
Yeah, we do. See, Michael likes
So
you, Mike.
and so the bottom line, he introduced me the concept, and actually he's absolutely right, etc. And then I do believe we're all the same. We do have some differences just based on the place where we grew up, based on messages we listen from our parents, and based on the books we consume. And it's why I'm trying to stay away from books. I don't want to be influenced by somebody else's opinion. So
Okay.
it's kind of the summary for to make this whole thing. very
I
easy.
agree with what you said. That speaks to me because I don't buy into governments, borders. We're all on this planet, right? A lot of people don't even consider the fact that we are literally spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, hurtling through space into infinity, and it could all end in a tenth
Tomorrow.
of a second, right?
Right. We're all
Something could
terminally
go-
ill. Yeah.
If the Earth, well, if the Earth doesn't stay at 23.5 degrees, if it goes to 18, we're all dead, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
That's
weird.
how fragile life is. So for us to define all these things by races, religions, countries, cultures, it's just so stupid. We're
It
all
is.
human beings.
We all came theoretically, whether you believe in the big boom, right? The evolution with Carl Sagan, we all spawned from monkeys. But if you believe the biblical side of it, we all spawned from Adam and Eve. So we're all related, if that's the case. And I've heard something, and you may know if this is true or not, Mike, because you listen to so many things. There was a point in time where the world population was just under 2,000. And
Correct.
And we still survived that. So we're all related in some way, shape, and form to those 2,000 people.
We can trace, this is a true story. I just
Okay.
read it.
Okay.
They just figured out that they can trace all modern man down to one woman. Everybody that's in our current state today,
Right.
they call her mitochondrial Eve.
She was busy.
She was be. Oh, I got a joke by the way. She was
Yeah, what's
busy
your joke?
doing what?
Exactly.
No. I got a message.
1,999 other people.
You're trying to get my style, kind of explain complex things in a simple language. Right.
We're
Yeah, she
going
was
to
busy.
practice that.
We're going to practice that, Yuri.
was pretty
We
busy,
learn.
right.
Every conversation we have, we learn something. Today we've learned so much. It's
That's
been
why we do
fascinating.
this.
Yeah, it's been fascinating talking to you.
To be honest, it was my question. Why you guys do that?
We
What
do it.
you?
Because I got to meet somebody who grew up 10 years after me.
17
Like,
years. Right.
yeah, so
Yeah, in
we're
Russia.
all roughly within the same era as far as, you know, the way we grew up before the internet and after the internet. And that doesn't even matter. I would have never met,
Yeah.
I might have gone the rest of my life and never met somebody that actually was born in a different culture, came to our free culture, and has lived on both sides of it. And I got to hear it from your mouth. I like to speculate a lot about how, you know, different people grew up and lived, but I don't know till I hear it from them. So that's why we
Do you
do
want to?
this.
My question.
Right.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry.
No, you're
please.
good. You're good.
Mike, would you
no,
consider
no.
to have a sample, the taste of different culture, like a sample? You go to Whole Foods and you got a sample of new food on the shelf, and you got a bite, and you can, oh shoot, it tastes so different and good. I will have extra bite. Would you consider to go somewhere and have a bite of different culture?
Absolutely. I would love
Yeah.
to. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
absolutely. I've just never afforded myself the opportunity to do that. So yeah, I would love to.
Yeah.
So we have to push you, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. We gotta,
it's
yeah.
gonna happen.
Yeah. So
if
you
I ever
mentioned,
meet the future missus, I'm probably gonna make that happen. So
there you go. So now you mentioned, Yuri, that you travel all over the universe. Okay, we don't want to talk about stuff off planet Earth because of, you know, we got to keep that stuff on the down low. We don't want KGB knocking on your door. So you mentioned Bangladesh. What other countries or I guess it's a country or wherever? What's something that somebody would be shocked to know that you went and visited?
Not much, to be honest. For me, Bangladesh was the biggest wow factor. Basically,
Okay.
quite the. I know there are some different countries exist. I
Sure.
didn't have. I had no need, I would say, to go, but definitely there are some places. Don't ask me names. I have to Google that.
Okay, it's fine.
There are small countries, and I met someone's been in. I think it was in what country was it? Indonesia, somewhere. So I met some. I already was impressed how we different from local guys, let's say in Indonesia, right? And then in a breakfast in local hotel, I came across small talk to someone from even more different place.
Okay.
So that temple, the one I mentioned, Mike, when you go Whole Foods, right? I had this bite. So back to the question, which we can circle that.
Yeah, yeah.
What makes me wake up every morning, I still didn't touch, I didn't still bite other pieces of the pie.
Yeah.
So there are some cultures, Laos, I guess. Laos is a country which I kind of in my, not exactly bucket list. I don't believe in bucket list. It has to be a life list. So I'm
Dude,
trying to
I
get
love
those-
that. It's lifeless. See, I have a thing where I call it's your life resume. Like, what have you done in your life? What kind of things have you accomplished? That's a life list, dude. It's so much better than a bucket list. That's cool. Again, the Yuri euphemism.
I like it too.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
I'm adopting that one.
So let's write a book, guys.
Yeah, write a book, man.
We have to come up with a title.
Yuri
what is it?
euphemisms.
Yuri euphemisms.
Right. There's the title.
Euphemism?
Yeah.
It has to be.
That's what Yuri said.
Oh, really?
There you go. That's it. That's
Simple.
catchy.
Simple.
That's what Yuri said.
I think it
like
sounds like that. I come up with a name in the past to send some messages to my daughter.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a good exercise. She asked me in a random spot. She can put a camera in my face and ask me any wisdom to me. So I would love to listen her records wherever I deliver, produce, I guess, for the last maybe 10, 15 years. Because she liked those records.
Yeah.
So it might be good content for whatever book. Nowadays, it's not
Okay.
about books.
You just sparked another question that I have because you talked about records.
Right.
What kind of music did you listen to?
Growing up in
Growing
Russia.
up.
Yeah.
Growing up, I was not in the space of music guys. No, actually, I put myself in music school for the year, just for the sake to be comfortable to have this conversation, I guess, with you guys.
Okay, let me ask you this real quick.
The rock music was not my thing.
Okay.
When you turned the radio on, what
Yeah.
did you hear? Like if
Right.
you're in
Well,
the car.
did they have radio in Russia?
No, we and we had cold and hot water. It was a joke.
I know.
All right. So if you go right now on my list, I rather talk about today's kind of
Okay.
things.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, what are you
pretty
listening
much
to now?
Which pretty much function of previous things. You'll find the biggest one I have, which is called Papaya. So Papaya is a kids music, and somebody very smart dude come up with the rhythm and the back like this. How to say that? It's designed for kids, but I enjoy it so much because when you listen to it 5 times and it's stuck you in your brain. There's one more person I have to promote in this podcast and don't share it with anybody else. I was a big fan of Selena Gomez, and I was a big fan of Selena Gomez for one specific song. And don't ask me which one I don't know. So if you go on my music list, it would be some classical piece. I try to push myself in the classical. I believe it's good stuff.
I love classical music. I love Mozart,
Right.
Beethoven.
Then
I mean, yeah.
Queen and such things. Now we had access to any music we can,
Okay.
but obviously that, if you go back to that time under the umbrella of communism system, right?
Yep.
Obviously it was so limited, and we had local guys, and local guys somehow they copy paste international guys. So somehow through the proxy, my parents, they were part of global culture. But again, it's sort of the proxy because a local guy, he had access to international content and he produced local content, but influenced by international content.
Okay.
So I was part of your culture on a 10% degree, I would say.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah. Cool. Good answer. So is all your family still in Russia aside from you?
Most of the family, yes.
Okay. And so do you visit, or you just phone calls, FaceTime, technology?
For multiple reasons, and we all can Google those reasons.
Yeah.
I'm not part of that life anymore,
Gotcha.
and mechanically, emotionally, etc. So it's kind of
cool.
answer for that question.
That's
right?
cool. That's fine. I'm in the same boat with my family, so no worries there, man. It's just a random question. So
Where your family lives?
My mother lives about probably within 15 minutes of me, but I haven't talked to her in over a decade. My father lives in Illinois, and I've had maybe 12
I know
conversations with him.
I guarantee there's a story behind that, but
There's all kinds of stories behind that, but this is about you.
now it's therapy session for you guy.
My family lives next door to me and
Right.
2 blocks away, and I see him multiple times a week. So
Yeah,
Oh,
there you go.
Mike is a good guy, and
Yeah,
Chris
Mike is a
is.
really good guy.
yeah.
I had a good family. Chris
Yeah.
did not. So
Yeah, yeah.
not his
It is
fault.
what it is. But like you talked about, like you're the person you are because of how you were brought up, and you're influenced by what your parents did and what you read and what culture and what world you were in as a child, and that formed who you are. And I don't regret how I was brought up because it made me the person I am today. I'm not one of those that points the fingers.
One of
it
the
is what
things
it
that I
is.
always say is the people that I find the most interesting, unfortunately, have the most fucked up lives.
True.
It's unfortunate.
It's true. I mean, think
But
about it. You know,
the
Mr.
most
Rogers-
interesting
yeah.
people I've ever met have had the most oppressive
Mm-hmm.
childhoods that anybody could ever ask for. And you can either come out of it triumphant like
Mm-hmm.
Chris did and decide this is my life and I'm going to live it my way and I'm going to be happy and positive and I'm going to go forward
Right. Mm-hmm.
and be effective, or I'm going to blame the way I grew up on the way I am for the rest of my fucking life.
Right. And that's just, there's no way to live.
And it sounds like we have a choice, right? We can.
Right.
Correct.
So, is it kind of transition to let's talk about why Yuri is so interesting based on how his life was fucked up? The good news, it was fucked up, but it was fucked up under control of my personal. I managed how much I need fucked up.
Sure.
And so I was lucky I was not fucked up like in our language.
You weren't fucked up beyond repair.
Right. So it was not. I had. So okay. Now okay. Speaking of your kind of language, I had to design artificial fucked up lifestyle to become an interesting person.
That was me. I had to
Oh,
do
really?
the same thing. Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. And I kind of feel that, to be honest. I don't know why. Yeah, right. So I was on a journey. I was actually I was always looking for something which can put me on the edge of stupidity, kind of, and come out from this whatever exercise experience clean and nice, and make a mental note that thing whatever I did right now. I will leverage that to become a good guy, a good person, interesting person, whatever. Because I have so many very not occasion stories in a life, which obviously was designed and executed by me, by my choice. I have nobody to blame. I actually I made sometimes calculated choices to do what I did.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Maybe a
Anything
good
else?
example.
Anything else you want to talk about, Mike? Any other questions for conversations with Yuri?
We're gonna have Yuri back on.
We have to have Yuri back. We have to have Yuri. But now you're getting into the podcast zone. So go do a couple more, and then we'll have you back on. And just because there's so much stuff we could talk about, just for the sheer fact that you're a great conversationalist, man. You're a fascinating human.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
You are.
You too. You too as well. Listen.
And you have a pool house. I don't have a pool house. Mike, do you have a pool house?
I don't have a pool house. No.
Now, do you have a pool, Yuri?
If I have a pool house, I should have a pool, I guess.
Well, you would think, but you never know, man.
No, I just don't. I'm trying to kind of educate, kind of. Meanwhile, no, I do have a pool, which right now closed. For the last 3 years, it's shut, for multiple reasons.
The youngin, the little one, right? You want to keep it safe.
It's a reason 55.
Okay.
There are like 54, before that.
54 other reasons. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, 54. I can give you the main one. I don't know why I need that when we travel summer.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we need it for when it's not a kind of place where you should have a pool. I don't know why people build pools nowadays, private.
That's what
You
I
should
always
have-
say about Illinois too. It's stupid to have a swimming pool in Illinois.
Oh, Illinois, it's more than that. It's like if you claim you can afford such property and you kind of calculated place that thing in the property, how much you stupid, man. Like you're gonna use it 5 times in your life cycle, whatever. And
Yeah,
headache.
where Chris is going to use his like 200
I'd use mine every day.
days a year.
If when we had a pool, we don't have a pool now because our grandson was born in like safety purposes. But where
Right.
we lived before with the pool, I was in it every single day of the year. And
But it's Arizona, right?
yeah, oh yeah. But even in the
No,
winter-
listen. In Arizona, you have to have a pool just for safety. You have to jump in the pool to cool down, right?
Right, yeah.
And north, you have a pool to make. I know. I'm trying to find an actual like logical reason why you should have a pool. Obviously, it looks sexy and nice when it's a blue kind of thing on your land on your backyard.
All it is
But-
around these parts is to show your neighbors that you're that much better than them. It's a
I-
status symbol.
I hope my neighbors, they're not part of the podcast, but if they hear that, listen, guys, F you. I have a pool, not impress you. It's the last thing I want to do, impress you guys.
That's what I've encountered. People who have pools, except for Yuri, who live north of what we consider the southern United States.
Right.
It's a status symbol.
it's a status symbol.
Right.
And he uses his it's a dance floor. He just covered it with a deck, right? And you just have barbecues and shit on the pool deck.
No, I have, in my case, I have the kind of the green color condom.
Oh,
You just
okay.
put it down there.
There you go. Right on.
I call it that way.
This has been fascinating. Here, we definitely want to have you back on. You've been a great person to
much
have a
fun.
conversation with. Mike and I wrap this up all the time with if you're having a bad day, don't let the bad days win. Somebody's going to miss you. Somebody loves you. So make sure you wake up tomorrow and have a better day, because once you go to sleep, tomorrow is always a better day. So if you're struggling, if you're depressed, you're down, reach out to somebody that you know. They want to talk to you. They want to hear you. They want to help you get off that ledge and keep you around, because this is what life's about, conversations and meeting people. And this has been a great hour and 15 minutes or so, Yuri, just getting to know you. And truly, Mike and I are sincere in saying we want to have you come back on at some point in time just to revisit and chat about life and things like that.
Absolutely.
So keep that in mind. And if you have anything you want us to do as far as, like we sent you links to like our pages and things like that and drop reviews on the Facebook group. If you have anything else you want us to do, by all means, let us know. We'd be happy to do it for you.
All right.
Yeah, just reach out.
The nice lady behind my emails, Sidra,
Yeah.
she will execute what she believes makes sense because I
Okay.
kind of ask her to become my producer, I would say.
Cool.
I produce people all my life, and now I ask somebody else to do kind of push me
There you go.
to be here. So it's a big thanks for her to her. She made it happen, to be honest. So wherever emails you had is from her, and thank you, Sidra. Very good job. Nice
Yes.
guys.
Yes.
Chris, nice, awesome guy. Mike, he designed lifestyle on his own choice. It's good as well. So we're on the same page.
Thank you. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Right
You're
on.
the
Yeah,
first
You have a-
person to notice that
Yeah.
on the podcast.
there you
All
go.
right.
You have a fantastic game, man. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a blast, man. We've learned so much from talking to you, man.
Thanks for coming
All right.
on, man. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
you're
guys.
great. We're a great human. We'll see you on Mars, buddy.
No, I'm no, no. Stop.
We're
here.
we're
No,
just checking to make sure we're all still staying here.
Right. Stay here. Listen, it is a fake bullshit vision. There's no need to go. We good here.
Yeah.
Okay. Adios, guys. Cheers.
See you,
Bye.
man.
Later,
Cheers,
man.
buddy.
Bye.
Love you, Mike. See you.
Love you too.
That was awesome.